Hey, so we're back. So we're about into the, not quite to the 3-hour mark. We'll talk a little bit about some of the technology that I'm using with the smoker here. And really we're talking about the DigiQ DX2. So this is something I bought. It's from a company called Barbecue Guru. I think the website is bbqguru.com. I'll put it in the link of the video. But essentially what it does is it has a probe that connects to the grill grate itself, and then there's also a probe that connects to whatever meat you're cooking. In this case we're doing ribs, so there's really no reason to probe the meat. But if you're doing, let's say, a pork shoulder, pork butt, or brisket, or even a combination of those things, then this thing, what it can do is it can not only regulate the temperature, or at least tell you what the temperature of the meat is, but also can help you keep your temperature of the smoker at whatever temperature you want it to set at. Well, the Weber Smoky Mountain is a pretty it's a pretty easy grill to manage temperature to. If you really want to make it kind of set and forget it, this tool really helps you. And so essentially what it does is it monitors the temperature of the probe, and then based on that little pump at the bottom there, the Pit Viper, that guy just blows little puffs of air into the coal chamber, and essentially does a little stoking of the fire. So as your temperatures go up or down, this thing essentially kind of self-regulates the smoker to whatever temperature you want to set to. So I just actually opened the lid a little bit, and that's why the temperature is going down. But you'll notice that it's increasing. And if you listen real closely, you can hear the blower running. And so what happens is the smoker the temperature will continue to rise there on the DigiQ. And when it blinks, and you see the little dotted light kind of blinking there, you'll see that it goes to a certain temperature. And right now I have it set to 225, so it's at the temperature I want it to be at. And it'll hold it there until it starts to dip a little bit, and then it'll slowly puff smaller puffs of air into the smoker until it finally settles to where it needs to. And then all it does is the DigiQ will just continue to monitor, and as it needs a little bit of additional air to keep the temperature, it'll run the pump very small amounts, which makes it very easy to keep the temperature without really having to worry about messing with grates. In fact, if I were to turn around, all of the grates on the bottom are all closed except for the top grate. So the top grate is the only one that's open. And that's really what it does. It's a great little product. And how it mounts is pretty simple. The little bracket there that it's kind of connected to, it's kind of easier to see from the side here, but you'll see there's a little aluminum little mounting plate that comes with it. You just bend it to fit your grill needs, and then at the bottom there, you'll see a plug that actually goes into one of the 3 bottom vent holes, and it simply has a screw that goes into one of the holes, and then it attaches to the grill on the inside, and then it has a little nozzle pointing down, so when it blows the air goes into the nozzle and then down into the coals and then up, so it actually creates a nice little draft of air. And then they give you some heat-resistant tape to go over the other holes so that it's sealed up really nice and sealed up solid, so there's no air leakage. And that's all it is. When you connect it, you simply connect the cable to the blower assembly here. So you'll see the blower piece there, and then pit, and then obviously a power. And then you'll also see an area where you can connect a food probe. Again, we're not using the food probe, but if you were, you would just simply stick that in your food, and then it would tell you the temperature of the food. So in my case, if I wanted to adjust the pit temperature, I just hit the button and it tells me, and if I want to go up or down, I can simply adjust it anywhere I want it to be. And once I let it sit there and hold it, then it locks it in and it will adjust itself to that temperature. If you press the button, it'll tell you the pit temperature. If you press the food button, it'll tell you the food temperature, so you can monitor either or. They also make some other ones that are a little bit more, they have some that connect wirelessly, so you can actually view and monitor via a web browser on your smartphone. They have them with multiple pit probes. They have all kinds of different versions of it, different models that do different things. This is kind of the, I wouldn't say it's entry level, but it's probably a step above the entry level, but not quite. It's kind of the middle level. But for what I use it for, this thing works perfectly, and it's just a great tool. Highly recommend it. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna spritz, because I haven't done that in a while. So we'll take off the lid. I apologize, I'm doing this one-handed, so the camera may be a little awkward. So they're the ribs. I use basically a water bottle container, and I fill it with apple juice. And it wants to actually spray. There it is finally. So I'm just basically spritzing it with apple juice. The apple juice just gives it a sugary coat, so it creates what we refer to as bark. There we go. Sorry about that. And then I have a bunch of, notice down there at the bottom, I have a bunch of the pieces that come with the spare ribs. So when you get spare ribs from the grocery store, you'll get, usually the ribs will come already pre-cut. In these cases, they were already pre-cut. But you'll also then get a bunch of kind of extra pieces that they already kind of trimmed away from you. But there's a lot of meat and a lot of kind of goodness on those pieces. So what I do is I'll go and take the best of those pieces, and then I'll go ahead and kind of just rub them up with the same rub that I use for the ribs. And then I'll put those down there and cook those. And then when we foil the ribs, I'll foil all of that into kind of just one big container. And then when we foil the ribs, which will be kind of the next video, I believe, we will then put some brown sugar as well as some additional rub and some apple juice and let them steam in that. And you notice that wire right there, that's the actual pit probe. So that's measuring, that's what's actually measuring the temperature of the grill again, or the pit we call it. And you see it runs through the grill and then up through the outside. So when I put the lid back on, I don't have any cables pinching. And you notice the temperature drop fairly significant. So what the unit will do now is it'll sense the temperature starting to go back up, and then it'll automatically run the pump to bring your cooker back up to temp for you. So that's kind of the DigiQ. It's a great product again. You can actually adapt it for a lot of different grills. So if you go to their website, you can just put in the grill you have, and they'll have different adapters and all those kind of things. So it's not just for Weber, it works for a lot of different grills. Even things like green eggs and Komodos and things like that that are ceramic. But that's kind of where we're at. We're probably not quite 3 hours in. We'll get back to you guys shortly. Again, if you like these videos, please subscribe, like, comment. That would be great. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.